It's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and we had a question come in today about placing posterior bite bumps, specifically where do you place them? And ultimately that's going to depend on what's the reason that you're putting the posterior bite bumps on. So we don't just slap them on just to slap them on. There's always a reason, right? So you should watch the other videos on the why behind posterior bite bumps by going to my YouTube, StraightSmile Solutions YouTube, not your YouTube, my page, StraightSmile Solutions, then going to the little magnifying glass towards the top right in the tabs and putting in the keyword posterior bite bumps. And you can watch all the videos on how to make them, why you use them, etc. So like I said, ultimately it depends on why you're using them. If you're using them for intrusion, it's going to be one position that you're going to put them in. If you're using them to prevent bracket breakage, it's another location that you're going to put them. If you're using them to wedge the bite or open the bite to jump a cross bite, temporarily, like in a anterior cross bite or something like that, or a posterior cross bite, it's another place you're going to put them. So there's a ton of different scenarios, so it's really going to depend. And my suggestion is first thing you do is use articulating paper and see where the contacts are, right? So the more posterior that you put the bite bumps, okay, the more of a wedge, or it's directly proportional, the amount of wedge or bite opening that you get. So the more posterior you put it, the more the bite is going to open, right? It's a good thing or it's a bad thing. Obviously, if I'm trying to get intrusion or trying to prevent a bite from opening up, I'm going to try to put it on as many teeth that have contact as possible. So if I'm using articulating paper and I have contact here, 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 I'm going to put it on all those teeth. If I'm using it just temporarily, just to lift the occlusion or to prevent a broken bracket just temporarily, just remember if you do that, the bite will get deeper over time. So you only want to use it temporarily for 2 to 3 months, which is part of the reason why I like to color it so that I remember that it's there. Or put an alert in your computer to check it every visit and put like a 90-day notice on when it needs to come off, because you will get intrusion on that tooth in the long term. You will get an imbalance bite in the long term. So one of the biggest mistakes I see doctors make is they leave those things on for so long because they forget about them. So that's why I love the idea of coloring it, so that you're like, every time you see the patient, you're like, oh yeah, we got that bite bump on. Make a note when you put it on and make sure you get it off as soon as possible, especially if it's just temporary bracket breakage, or if you're using it temporarily to lift the occlusion to bring a tooth that's in dental crossbite or anterior crossbite in. All right, hopefully that was helpful. And as far as, and again, check with articulating paper, put it where they're biting. And as far as to put it on top or bottom, that's personal preference. It really doesn't matter. I normally put mine on bottom just because it's easier for me to take off and reminds me that it's there. If I have a choice, I'll put it on a baby tooth instead of an adult tooth if we're in mixed dentition, because then I don't even have to sometimes drill it off, because sometimes the tooth will fall out, right? So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you.